What's up guys, and happy new year. Yes, it's a new year and this is my first video of the year 2024. If you're new here, my name is Lakbadi Badru and I'm a lifestyle content creator based in Edmonton, Alberta. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button and also the notification bell so you'll get an alert when I put out more videos. And of course, if you're a returning subscriber, I thank you for returning, for joining me again on my channel. And yeah, let's jump into today's video. So yeah, it is a new year, 2024. And for some reason, I've noticed that people actually came prepared. I don't know if it's based on the outcome of previous years or the recent previous years, but this time around, people came prepared and they are going in headstrong. Like, people are going in with their goals and ready to get things ticked off their lists. So if you're a kind of person that goes with like a list or a win list, for example, or a vision board, or you just wing things, well, you know what? We're all different. We all have our different styles and there is nothing wrong with whatever style you decide to go for. But one thing that we all should collectively agree on is that we should all be productive. Whichever way you try to be productive, differs because everyone has their different steps. Being productive can be challenging. I'm sure you agree with me as an adult because your time is not enough. An adult, number one, and probably a parent, someone working, doing a 9 to 5, or you run a business, your time it's very scarce, So I'm going to be sharing with you a couple of tips, 7 tips actually, to help your productivity in the year 2024. Yes, calm down. I'm sure you'll be like, what does Shakwe know about productivity? Yep. As you may or may not know, I'm a project manager. I've applied some of these tips over the years that have helped me to be productive and staying organized. And if you know what it entails to be a project manager, then you know that number one, you have to be organized. You have to find a system that works for you, and you have to learn to build systems in place that will bring about productivity within your teams. So this is the perspective I'm coming from, and just as it's applicable to my software development team, it's also applicable to any area of your life, to be honest, because I have used it and I still use it because as an adult, as I said, time is of the essence, so you have to always look for ways, systems and processes to get things done. Otherwise, they will never get done. So the first tip is to sleep. Dedicate enough time to sleep. Now, when it comes to the number of hours, I know it's debatable. Some people say sleep 8 hours. Some say sleep 4 hours, 5 hours. It depends. So I won't tell you the number of hours to sleep. That's really depends on you. Totally depends on you, and depends on the amount of workload, right? That will really determine amount of time you have to sleep, and it also depends on your lifestyle. Are you the kind of person that works at night? You work during the day? Do you run a business by the side? It's really subjective, but bottom line is you get enough sleep. Don't say because you listen to some motivational speech that says Jeff Bezos wakes up at 4:30, so you should wake up at that time. I don't know. If you wake up at 4:30, what time are you sleeping? You need enough sleep so that your brain regenerates, you have enough strength. And you agree with me that if you don't get enough sleep, it affects your day. So for you to have a productive day, you should have enough sleep. So I'm not going to talk too much about this, but just make sure you're getting enough sleep. So if there is anything preventing you from sleeping a allotted number of hours, you should try to remove those distractions. That will be my segue to my next point, because there are different distractions. For example, your phone, watching TV, or even work. So when it comes to the time you're ready to sleep, for example, if you're asleep by 10:30, make sure your phone is down, let's say 15 minutes before, so that your brain is winding down and you're ready to call it a night. So yeah, sleep is very, very essential. The second tip on my list is to have a to-do list. Yeah, a to-do list is very, very important, and it can come in any shape or form. So some people like to write things down. I also like to write things down, but these days I'm beginning to lean towards, typing it out because everything is becoming more digitalized these days. But if you're the kind of person that likes to write things down, then for sure get a notepad and write your to-do list. And your to-do list can come in stages. For example, you can have a to-do list for the year. You can have a to-do list for the next 6 months, 3 months, a month, a week, a day. So you can cut it down to as little as a day. Like, okay, what am I doing today? Write it down. Or you could also use an app. I use the Notion app. It's actually a productivity tool, planning tool, which helps me to journal, to have my to-do list, to have my budget plans. Like, everything is within that app, and I enjoy using it. So if you're interested, you can check it out. I'll get a link and put it in the description somewhere, so you can check that out if you like. Or you could also use Microsoft Notes as well. Microsoft Notes is also a good note taker. You could use your notes phone on your iPhone. That I also use as well. I use that a lot, actually. So the most important thing is you taking down the notes, and as you go about your day, you take off, okay, I've achieved this task for the day. And you can work your way up like that. I feel like if you don't write things down, if you say, oh, I have it in my head, sometimes you might forget, or your priorities might change, right? But if you have it written down, you can always revisit. And if you even need to make changes, you will know the reason why you're making those changes. So yeah, have a list, have a to-do list. That's number 2. And number 3 is set limits to apps on your phone. Let me just put it that way, because I feel like in this day and age, there's no one who doesn't have a smartphone. A lot of people, you get a point. And with that comes its own, bad side, because you end up going on social media. You go on Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter, or is it X, they call it these days, and you are doom scrolling. Like, that's really is a thief of time these days, and most people are affected by this, including myself. So that's why you have to put, structures in place to limit your time spent within apps, except the productivity app. That's different. But you want to make sure that there's set time, so you're not spending too much time on your WhatsApp or on your Instagram when you're supposed to be doing something else. So I think if you have, I don't know what it looks like for an Android, but for your iPhone, you just go to your settings and you can set focus time, limit the number of hours that you spend within your apps. You can set that within, just go to the settings on your phone, and then set the limit. That way you'll be able to use that time for something more productive, and you won't see yourself spending 6-7 hours on the clock app. I think that's just ridiculous, but that's the world we live in these days. My 4th tip is using the Pomodoro Technique. So I think it was beginning of 2020, I read a book with a couple of my sisters in a fellowship I belong to. The title of the book is Eat That Frog. So within that book, it described the Pomodoro Technique, which helps you to achieve tasks, like a particular task you have in mind within a particular period. So essentially, the name Pomodoro is gotten from the person who gave it the name. I think it was something about the timer he used looking like a tomato. So it's called the Pomodoro Technique. So essentially what you do is you time yourself for example, 25 minutes, and you eliminate every distraction and you focus on that task for that 25 minutes. Once 25 minutes is up, you take a 5-minute break. So you do whatever you want to do within that 5 minutes. You set your timer again. So you tick off one Pomodoro and you start again. 25 minutes, you focus. Within that period, you achieve whatever you want to achieve. Then you tick off the second Pomodoro. You take a 5-minute break and you continue that cycle for like 4 Pomodoros. And after the 4th Pomodoro, you take a longer break. And that's a way of rewarding yourself for achieving, those Pomodoro time blocks. So I think it's really good, especially if you are maybe studying for an exam, or if you have like a critical task you're working on that is, time sensitive. I think that's actually a really cool productivity tip to look into. So yeah, you can give it a try and let me know what you think. I hope I was able to describe it properly, but essentially you're timing yourself to focus on whatever task you're doing within that period. So that's what the Pomodoro Technique is about. And number 5, another tip, I don't remember where I read this from, but it's called the 21-90 rule. So 21 90 rule just means that you are repeating the same task for 21 days. So this kind of controversial. Some people agree, some people don't agree. Personally, I think what I just take from the technique is that if you continue something for, if you keep doing something over and over, it becomes a habit. I think that's just kind of what, for me, that's what I pick from it. So it doesn't necessarily mean if you keep doing a particular task for 21 days, then it becomes a part of your life. But the point is, it's meant to get you to the point where, after 21 days, you see it as a habit and you don't want to stop it. For example, if you start working out, running in particular, because I think running is one of the most productive workouts. So if you start running on day one, of course, it will be challenging for someone who's a new runner. Like when I started running last year, I continued. I wasn't running every day, but I'm just giving as an example. So I continued running. So for example, maybe the first day I ran 15 minutes was very challenging and I couldn't even sustain the pace. By the second day, I continued. I was still in pain. I was struggling and, trying to run through. By the third day, I was able to catch my breath. And after the first week, it was still painful. It was harrowing, but I was able to complete my 30-minute run, despite the fact that it was really challenging. So imagine me continuing running like that week 1, week 2, week 3. After week 3, my body already knows that this body is going to run. So my body is already getting used to it and is able to build that endurance to finish the 30-minute run and even probably exceed the 30-minute run. So that's the point, because as humans, we are creatures of habits. So if you keep doing something over and over, you get used to it. So this tip in particular, I like for, like, if you are trying to build a good habit, like maybe healthy eating, trying to work out, for example, things like that. So you can consider that if that you're trying to make a lifestyle change, 21-day rule is a really good productivity tip. And my 6th tip is to set alarms on your cell phone. So we know most people usually have their cell phones on them anyway, except you're working or maybe for some reason you're not just able to be with your phone. But if you're the kind of person that is always with your phone, then you could set alarms on your phone. So I use this particular tip to remind me to pray. Because I found that, you think that things like this will come naturally to, like the one of waking up in the morning to pray. Yes, for sure, that's kind of innate. And at night when you're about to sleep. So morning, night. But you want to pray during the day as well, because you want to build your spiritual level. And sometimes I'll be like, I'll remember, but somehow I don't remember because I get carried away with maybe work or, being a parent or anything like that. So I set alarms on my phone, and once my alarm beeps, I don't have to run to the room and say, I'm praying and kneel down and, and start all of that. No. Where I am on the spot, once the alarm beeps, I just find myself praying in the spirit, praying in my mind. There's just a word of prayer that comes out, and it helps me to, especially if you're fasting, it helps me to stay, within that spirit of trying to be connected with the Holy Spirit. Because if you don't pray and you're just fasting, it's more like you're starving yourself. So, but if I'm using this as an illustration, of course you can apply it to any other situation, but the point is, if you set alarms on your phone for any, like as a reminder, or you can just even set a reminder on your phone, that way you remember to do whatever tasks you have on your to-do list. So that's a really good tip. And my 7th tip is to just put the task within your calendar, because if you're working, you probably have your calendar, schedules, meetings here and there and all of that. So why not just, if you can add it to your work calendar, good. But if you can't add it to your work calendar, then add it to the calendar on your phone, and you get a reminder that way. Like it will literally be beeping at you, and like you need to write that report. You need to write your term report. You need to pray. You get the gist. But the calendar is really important. If you are a parent, if you've got kids, the calendar comes in very handy, because especially if your kids are into different activities. Definitely you want to try this option if you haven't tried it before. But those are my 7 tips to being productive in 2024. And I would like to know if you have any other tips. I would like to know those tips in the comments. Drop them in the comments. And if you have any experiences, also share as well in the comments on how we can be productive, because I'm also speaking to myself. Like for me, the most challenging of all the tips that I've shared with you is sleep. Like getting enough sleep. I don't get enough sleep, and I need to correct that in 2024. If you guys enjoyed this video, let me know by giving me a thumbs up. I really appreciate that, and let me know that you enjoy these types of content. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed, don't forget to subscribe and also hit the notification bell. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will see you on my next one. Bye guys.